Okay, so thank you very much for the time. So let me introduce myself. I'm from the Youth College, the project-based learning project team. So just wonder how many of you are also frontline teachers? Quite a lot, right? So I hope this sharing would be useful to you because I'm not an expert of AI, unlike our guest speaker. I'm just speaking as like a front teacher. So I'm going to share with you some sample projects from the youth college. But I have to say, for those sample projects, we haven't applied AI and ChatGPT yet, but it is just a model that we are going to move forward. So thank you very much for the time this morning. Uh, my title is Can't Fight AI Writing. I guess many of you may be wondering how you can detect AI writing or how you can tell whether the students are using AI for the assignment. I had that question in my mind for months, and then I tried to use a few tools that you might have used before as well. So it all came with this question: how can teachers know if the assignments are written by AI? I tried. Maybe many of you have used that before. Turnitin, Writer.com, Crossplug, and CopyLeaks. These are very popular platform teachers are using. Um, One afternoon a few months ago, I tried to type in quite a few texts in all four platforms and try whether they have the same result or contradictory result. And here is my finding. And I also share my finding with some of my colleagues, and they were quite surprised. I'm not sure if you have tried this before. Typing the same piece of text into different platform, it takes time, but the result is quite surprising. So when I type in a piece of text from an advertisement, I'm sorry the words are quite small, but it is from an advertisement. So and I type it in Crossplug, and it says 92% AI. And then with the same piece of text, I put it in CopyLeaks, and it says it's human text. So very interesting results. So I try another one. Um, and the same piece of text in writer.com, and it says 59% human. So I try another piece of text, which was written by my principal from the school website. So we have this principal welcoming speech in our website, obviously written by human. And the result, we type in Crossplug, it says human text, well, which is true. And then we try another platform, CopyLeaks, it says human text as well. And then another one is the writer.com. It says, okay, 87% human. So I try other text as well. So I also type another paragraph of the welcoming speech in the platform. And you can see the highlights here, the contradictory result that we see for different texts and different platform, like the text one, very contradictory result. And then for text three as well, 82% AI, but for the other two platforms, it says from human text. And the fourth one is the most interesting one. If you have the time, you can go to search it from The Guardian. It's an article published by ChatGPT 3 a few years ago. So it was a passage about asking ChatGPT 3 whether humans should be afraid of you and something like that. So the whole text was written by ChatGPT saying, no, you should not be afraid of us. We are just helping human and blah, 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 all of that. And I type in the fifth paragraph from this website, and then it says from Crossplug, 14% AI only. But it's obviously written by ChatGPT 3, but it cannot detect that. Maybe because of different algorithm for different platform that they are using. That's why. So just like other people have been telling you, don't trust these kind of platform because you can't really get the same result. Even it is from AI, even it is from human, they will be telling you very contradictory results. So I guess all the teachers should know you should judge your professional judgment instead. So you know your student best, you know their writing, you know their levels. So you should trust yourself rather than trusting the platform. Even Turnitin may have a very different result as well. So these are the interesting results that I found from that question. How are we going to detect AI writing? So from here, if we can't detect it, so that means obviously student will be using that no matter you like it or not. So what should we do? How are we going to change our teaching and learning, our delivery approach, and our assignment design so that we can deepen the learning as well as also to enhance our assessment process so that we won't be faked by our students. So that's why we can use it for flipped learning and as well as using project-based learning, because these kind of delivery approach would require student deeper learning as well as their better understanding of the subject knowledge. But for the background knowledge, we can always give it to the ChatGPT, because for flipped learning, you can just simply ask your student to search for information, look for some background, and I'm going to show you in a minute how we can try to do that. And then for our assignment, we should make it more practical as well as having more application. So here is my example. So just a little bit background of flipped learning. How many of you have been adopting it in your own classroom? It's quite difficult, right? Because, oh, that's really good. So was it very successful? That's good. Good to hear. Because some teachers may say, my students are not very motivated, or maybe they don't have the keywords. They always say, I don't have the keywords to search. You always need to have the keywords so that they can have the ability to search for the information. So here comes ChatGPT, because now they can have more keywords. They simply type in the questions and then it comes a lot of keywords for them so that they can come to the next step, right? So for flipped classroom, we always give the background learning task for them at home. And then when they come to the classroom, they would do the discussion, they would do the project and collaborative learning. So we save our class time, not for lecturing, not for having those background information, but for deeper learning. It's usually, well, how to say, quite a lot of the teachers are quite skeptical about that because of the student motivation as well as the learning design. But with the help of ChatGPT, that may come much easier for us. And it gives us the flexibility as well as the pace for learning can be adjusted by the students themselves. Like maybe in my class, some students are quite shy of asking questions, or maybe they don't want to show that they don't know something. They can simply, okay, now I have ChatGPT. I can know it better before I come to the class, before I listen to the teacher. So the teacher will have to, just like our guest speaker said, to verify the answer in the classroom, because they may have all the background they found from ChatGPT, but they don't know whether it is true. Like what I'm going to show you would be about engineering, which I have no background of. So I would need my engineering teacher to teach me in the classroom later. So for project-based learning, there are a lot of benefits. So it enhances collaboration, problem solving, creativity, and all that. For those highlighted one, curiosity and in-depth understanding, it can be enhanced by ChatGPT, because now they can have the keywords, they can search for more. When they ask, they are not afraid of being judged by the teacher or by their students. They can simply, okay, I can ask more so that I can have more information that can enhance their curiosity. Because usually in the classroom, they would feel that if I ask a question, I may be judged by my friends, or maybe my teacher would think that, This is a very simple question. Why would you be asking that, right? So that may be enhanced by ChatGPT. So here comes the example of an engineering project that you can find in our website. But for the original project, it was not completed with the help of ChatGPT because it was completed last year. But with the new technology, I tried to use the ChatGPT and flip learning model to give you some ideas how we can enhance this project. So as you can see from this picture, is an air duct for the air conditioning. In the past, when people need to put the sealant to seal the air duct, they may need to send people to do that, and there may be an accident when people falling from height. But now we can introduce some robots to do that. And our engineering students have this kind of project, designing a small robot to go through the air duct to do the sealing. So how are our students going to use ChatGPT to make and enhance their robot? Can see the robot from our website in our youth college website. This is the model from the student, but not completed with the help of ChatGPT. I just show you the project from last year. Now I'm showing you how we can enhance the learning process. For example, as teachers, when you are writing this kind of project, you can use a generative AI like Cohesive for lesson planning. Have you used this platform before? Cohesive? Maybe you can try. I asked some of my colleagues working in Canada and some other places, they have been using ChatGPT for their lesson plan because it helps them to save time. But of course, the content itself, you need some time to refine it. But at the very beginning, you give it some prompts, and then it will give you the lesson plan as well as some other marking rubrics, and very, very powerful. So when I want to create a lesson plan for the engineering project, I can type in building an efficient air duct sealing robot and type in the level and your target student and the duration, how many lessons I want it to be on a weekly basis. We have it for 4 weeks and give it some reference links. So it comes like this. So it comes like here with all the objectives and when you are going to teach what. A very brief lesson plan for the teacher. So it saves you a lot of time. I believe usually we spend whole summer refining our lesson plan, refining our materials, but now within maybe 5 minutes, you have a rough plan, but you have to spend maybe more hours to refine it. So first of all, it says for teacher can introduce the topic and then ask the student to design and do the presentation in the first week. And for the second week, the student can do the building and testing of the robot. And for the third week, you can work on the programming and do the practice. And for the fourth week, what you are going to do. So it all comes from just very short, brief prompt for the GPT. And here comes the grading rubrics as well. So when we judge our engineering project, so this on the left-hand side is a very rough rubric for the engineering project, but you want more specific rubrics. So you type in, I want it to be with distinction, merit, and different grading. So it comes all that. I remember we used to spend so much time writing all these rubrics, defining the words, those very small differences, but now it helps us very, very well. But of course, for ChatGPT as teachers, because you are all the professional in that area, you have the keywords like efficiency, practicality, and programming. It doesn't come automatically from the ChatGPT. You have to type in some keywords, so it will help you to refine your grading rubrics, as well as you want to, because you don't want your students to just use AI to complete their work. So you have all these criteria to judge the work so that we make it more human. And next one. So it comes the flipped classroom part. So if you are now the student, you are going to design the air duct sealing robot. So, and actually the question that I type in for the ChatGPT can be like the driving question prepared by the teacher. Usually the teacher will ask you, okay, your robot should be efficient, your robot should be small enough. So you type in all those keywords. So it comes with all these methods for building such a robot. So before the lesson, when you give your student the driving question, they can bring the driving question back home and they can have all these information before they come back to the classroom and ask you, oh, I have all these, the sealing method, like the sealing tape. Then you can ask your teacher, which one is better? Is it really true? Does it really work? So this may be very powerful for their learning because usually they don't have these keywords. And then next one comes the challenges in testing the robot. So the student may type in and ask, how am I going to test my robot? Then there are different ways like the effectiveness, the durability, and the navigation. These are the criteria. Even if for the teacher, like when we write the marking rubrics, if we don't have these in mind, then these are the criteria that we should be judging their work. But of course, these are just very surface level understanding of the subject matter. And now, let me show you, oops. So it keeps on asking the question, and then you can have a lot of background information generated by the chat GPT. Now we go to the work. So once the student have the key concept from the ChatGPT, they come to the classroom and then they can have more extend online search. They can search for other company which are making the air duct sealing robot. They can look at the video online and also ask the teacher for more consultative feedback. So the model is like from the ChatGPT, the student get the background information. When they come to class, they focus on testing the model. They come to class to ask the teachers on the feedback, how they can make the robot better and whether the information from ChatGPT is true. So we can just skip the proposal and written report part and focus on presenting their work, the whole process of building a robot, the practical application, like here, that this is the model that built by our student last year. And the other example is a jewelry design project, so which I have no background information of as well, but this is also another project completed by our student in the youth college. So the students were being asked to design jewelry item with Chinese cultural element. So if you teach design, you know, when you ask students to brainstorm ideas, it takes them weeks and weeks and weeks to refine. So now they can ask ChatGPT so to design a jewelry item with traditional Chinese cultural element, what are the elements suggested? Like maybe dragon or maybe phoenix. So they get all these ideas and then they can, once they have the ideas, they can put them together and have the design concept. But this is only the concept part. We focus on the making part. That is their craftsmanship, how they make the jewelry. And of course, before going on the making part, they can, just like the engineering part, they can work on the video and do more research on that topic. So this is just some screenshot from the making of the jewelry item. So just like the engineering model, we have the background knowledge from the ChatGPT, and the student develop the idea and try to consult the teacher for more feedback and work on their craftsmanship, and the application is inside the assignment. So not focusing on writing a proposal, not focusing on just the written part, but also the practical part. So I hope my presentation will give you more ideas on how you can work out the flipped classroom using the ChatGPT, and maybe how you can use ChatGPT to save your time on the preparation of your teaching material as well. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Okay, so now we move to the question session. So if you have questions here in the room, then please raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. Okay, so any questions for Ms. Kitty Leung?
Hello. So at the end, you said that GPT can help students be more efficient at like the proposal writing process and focus on application, right? What if some subjects teach, like we need students to learn how to write a proposal? Then what do we do?
So that would be a very different aspect, and also it depends on how you change your pedagogical approach. For example, like teaching English, just like our colleagues would focus more on the the structure, and also because when so you're mentioning like language, right? So actually, for the engineering project and also for the jewelry project, they need to explain the process as well. They also explain the ideas as well. So, but the language sometimes may be the weak part for our students. But for the ChatGPT with the feedback, sometimes they can learn how to write better. I don't mean using ChatGPT to write proposal is a quick way, but it gives you the feedback so that they can enhance their writing as well. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Any more questions?
Do you think I've tried using ChatGPT before to create lesson plans, but I find that the structure is always the same, right? So it's very boring. Do you find that the timings that the ChatGPT gives you is accurate for the students, and how would you change it for your specific students?
Do you mean, thank you for the question. So do you mean the timing that you mean is like how many minutes they spend for each task? I guess that is just a very rough idea for us. And also, if we give them more specific prompts, for example, I remember typing in prompts for writing a lesson for Chinese poem. Very interesting. So I type in prompts like, can you make the lesson more interactive, like role play? So now as like the poet, and then you have to use a dialogue and something. If you write prompts more specific, like how many minutes or how long is your lesson? Because like the one before, I did not write the duration of each lesson. So maybe with more specific prompts, you will have better idea, but still you need your time to refine and also polish your work. This is just a rough draft. So to save our time, and you're right that the format and also all that are very similar. Just like the social media posts, you can tell immediately if someone is using ChatGPT for that. But if they are using it cleverly, they can always put in their own elements. So that is just for your rough draft, I guess.
Okay, I have a question actually myself. The part you did at the beginning, you showed the different detectors and how they're used. I've done a bit of reading about how these detectors may actually punish second language learners, as second language learners will often consult a thesaurus, a dictionary to choose words, and maybe selecting words in a similar way to the AI itself. Have you seen anything about this? Could you comment on that?
Well, but as I said, I'm not an expert in AI. I'm not the one writing the algorithm behind it. But I guess for different platform, they are really using different ways of detecting it. That's why you can see the contradictory results, like what you mentioned about using certain diction or certain pattern. They may punish it as like AI writing. So it depends on the algorithm behind that. Yeah.